After this video, I know I've kind of getting off on a sales an introduction to sales rather. But you guys got to understand that sales are going to be important throughout your HVAC career, and even if you own a business, if you don't look at your business as a retail sales business, you're never going to make that top 10% of companies in your area. You're never going to grow to where you want to grow, or grow to where the business takes care of you and you don't have to come to the office anymore or be in the field anymore. So you've got to look at your organization as a sales organization. So get used to that. It's not, who are we kidding? We sell. If nothing happens until something gets sold. We all know that. And you don't make a paycheck if nothing's getting sold. You don't get to get your 40 hours a week if nothing gets sold. Things have to sell. That's how your business sustains. It's how your business grows. So get used to being a retail sales organization. Sales constantly has to be trained, has to be implemented. Things have to be implemented. So just get used to that, guys. Unless you just want to work in a van for the rest of your life and do service calls and, constantly struggle to make ends meet. If that's your goal, then great. If that's what floats your boat, it's totally up to you. I see comments and stuff from other posts, and I know there's techs out there that get mad when we talk about sales, when business owners are constantly talking about sales. Well, sales are important. They are the lifeblood of the business. They're what gives you work. They're what pays for your vacation time. They're what gives you your benefits. Everything comes from sales of the organization. So as far as an HVAC tech just getting into this and a beginner, get good at sales. Start studying it. It'll catapult your career more than anything else. Of course, you need to learn the technical skills, which we will get into next video. We're going to go over switches and loads, then thermostats, and how to use your meter, so you can get hopefully an understanding of what voltages you're looking for. But I wanted to give you a baseline introduction to sales so you can get used to selling. You've got to study this stuff, and any kind of other information you can find about sales. Like I said, look it up, read it, learn it. You have to sell, period. And you're going to find yourself in situations where you can't leave that furnace running anymore because the heat exchangers failed. And a lot of times the customer, trusts you because you're the one there. You're the one who's been keeping them up to date as you've been working on their furnace and stuff. And maybe you're the guy who's been out for the last 3 times over the last 3 years, and it finally fails. They trust you. They want to buy from you. They don't want to have you call a pushy salesman to come in. So I'm not bad-mouthing companies who do use salesmen. That's to each his own. Whatever works for you, have it, great. I'm just saying that we are about sales. That's my main point, is just that we are about sales. We have to be. So when it comes to sales, don't sell what it is that you want. You've got to learn what the buyer wants, and that's what you sell. So you're going to determine this by asking lots of questions. So don't go right into talking about benefits and stuff of the product when you don't know what it is that they're looking for yet. You've got to ask questions and gather that information first, so you can then find the right product with the right benefits that they're after. So don't just talk about what you want. It's about what they want. So the buyer typically doesn't care what it is that you want. They care about what they want. So don't sell the business before finding out what benefits they want. A lot of times customers can't always, they often want the best that they can get. And, they want it all, but they can't always have it all, whether because that's the price or their situation, that their house the situation of the home, but you have to diagnose their challenge and determine what their opportunities are for their situation and their home, and what specific items or products work best for them. Another thing that is common throughout all sales is people don't buy logically. People buy emotionally. Then they justify their decision with logic. So, what is the emotional process that leads to a purchase? It begins with a new development in the buyer's self-image. So you need to constantly be looking for those changes as you're giving a presentation, that the changes in their self-image as they occur during the sales process. Remember that making one thoughtless comment can destroy your chances of selling them, and every image that your word creates in the minds of the client either helps or hurts, your chances of selling. So by this standard, all images are either positive to the sale or they're negative to it. Your prospects, they're either emotionally for you or emotionally against you. Positive emotions trigger sales, obviously. Negative emotions destroy sales, pretty much what I just said. But you've got to hit those emotions once you learn what they are. And I've made a list here of the most widespread and powerful buying emotions. And they can be color or style, pride of ownership, vanity, security, prestige or status, ambition, employment change, peer pressure, which is like keeping up with the Joneses, self-improvement, health, love of family, family getting larger or smaller, and that's pretty much all the buying emotions. Now, the ones that we typically deal with in the HVAC industry, or at least what I see, is peer pressure, which is keeping up with the Joneses. So maybe they have a neighbor that brags about their new system and the low utility cost, and they want to be on the, they want to join their neighbor, join the club of low utility cost, and so that's one of the reasons people buy. Another reason would be pride of ownership, and that's probably, pride of ownership can be related to like pride in oneself, and that's probably one of the biggest reasons. If it's not just flat out an emergency that they have to replace it right now on the spot because the furnace is bad or the compressor died, but if they're actually having you out to look at the system before they have major problems, it's probably going to be pride of ownership. That's like being proud of upgrading their equipment and increasing the value of their home, and increasing sales potential of their home by choosing a brand that people have heard of, and by being able to having them understand that the warranty is transferable. So they're going to have, a 10-year parts warranty. So that's a big one. Pride of ownership's a big one. Love of family. So maybe their current system isn't safe, or they're afraid that maybe it's on the way out and the heat exchanger is going to crack. Well, that maybe that's a good reason and incentive to go ahead and purchase a new furnace, because we can't promise how long it's going to stay good. Or maybe there's a noise issue that keeps the wife up at night, so she can hear that unit every time it kicks on. And just the love of the family, can be a good point and a good reason for buying. And maybe hot or cold spots. Maybe their little boy's room is always cold during the winter, or it's always hot during the summer, and they want to keep their son comfortable. So that's love of family. And if you can provide a solution to that, and just keep hitting on that, back to the rule of threes, and that's the system that's going to keep Johnny warm in his bedroom, during the winter this year. And you hit that 3 times, and just drive it home that that it's going to solve their problem. Then there's prestige or status, which could probably go along with keeping up with the Joneses, but maybe they just want the newest technology. Maybe they want the best of the best. And these are probably going to be the people that get a new car every 3 years, 2 years, or 3 years. And they just want nice stuff in their home. And that's another thing that's, they selling the technology may be the way to sell that particular client. So you can let them know this is the cutting edge technology that's on the market right now. And then just keep hitting that. And that may be the reason that they buy from you, because you're solving that issue. That's pretty much all I got this time, guys. And I'm going to post this video. Shortly after I post this video, we'll get right into switches and loads. So we'll get into switches and loads and what we're looking for in our meter and how thermostats work. We'll cover a lot in that first video, and then we'll probably move on to some examples, and I'll show you what my meter's reading and stuff like that, so you can get an understanding of why you're showing 24 volts between these two terminals, or why you show 0 volts between these two terminals. So I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure to subscribe so you catch that video, the next one coming up on using your meter and understanding electricity a little bit. And share this with your friends. Please comment below and go make money.